So guys, in this video we will be drafting pants from another pants. So basically it's my 10-year-old son pants, so we'll see how easy it is to do so let's get started. And then we're gonna draft a pants exactly as it is. And this pant is an elastic waist already, so we're gonna just pretty much draft it out, and then I'll let you know for the elastic how we're gonna go about with the elastic. But first let's start with drafting the pants out first. Okay, so one thing we gotta know now with the pants, the back is longer than the front. So what we're gonna do instantly is we could do either the front first or the back first, but I'm gonna do the back first. So this is the front here with the pockets. I'm not gonna use pockets and all that, but I am gonna just show you how we're gonna pin everything together, right? And we're gonna make sure that we pin it neatly, and then we're gonna trace it out. So I got a bed sheet here. I had an old bed sheet here. Now it's not the prettiest looking bed sheet. There's a little bit of stain here and whatever, but the reason why I use this is because I want you to see very well what I'm doing, very, very clear. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here now is I'm just folding this, trying to level it up as much as I can. Try to level up the seams as much as I can. Right, and if I have a pin or something, I can always pin it down. So as I level it, I sort of pin it down as I level it. Right. So I just kind of matching up the sides here. Because what I want exactly the image of of the pants itself. So see what I'm doing here? Just take my pin and I'm just gonna pin that. So you just take your time and you pin down level to level, all the way down here. Okay, so pin it here. Right. Because you want everything to be stable, really, really stable and nice. And you really want that peak out there. And then I'll just do this. Okay. So, as we have this here now, just make sure everything's settled down nicely. Now, so what I've done, I'll just pre-do it. I'm going to explain everything just to kind of make things, efficiently for the video itself. But I'm going to explain everything here. Now, because this is an elastic waist, right? Of course, the elastic, it's going to be in its place, right? But for the elastic, the top part the fabric have to be wider to accommodate the elastic. So I went out some extras on this side and I'll explain. However, if you don't have an elastic here, let's say you have just a regular waist, there's no elastic, that is a band, then you don't have to put that extra. But this tutorial, of course, is made for in case the the child pants has an elastic. Okay, so just letting everyone know that. Okay, so once I pin it down, if you want, you could pin it down to the fabric. I didn't do that here, but I just pin it down here, but I didn't attach it to the main fabric that I want. And again, this is just my sample fabric. I'll use this fabric as a pattern to kind of cut out the real deal. Let's put it like that. So what I'm going to do here for safety, I always like to be safe. You could go just 1/2 inch from the edge, and then when you come here, you go to at least 2 inches just to make sure you have enough to accommodate the waistband for the child's waist. However, just to be safe, I always like to be safe, I went out 1 inch. So 1 inch from here, 1 inch from here, all the way down. So let me show you what I did. So I went 1 inch down, so 1 inch. So put 1 inch and mark 1 inch according to your curve. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. Right, you can mark, you pretty much put your tape measurement, right, and then you come out this way. So you know it's 1 inch from here to here. So you just kind of blend, right? So then you know it's 1 inch, you come out like that 1 inch here, and then you sort of just blend the 1 inch mark here, right? So I'm just gonna do it here, so you see 1 inch, 1 inch, and then this here is 1 inch out, right? So because it's 1 inch out, let's say we have something here, then we're not gonna come out at 1 inch out here, right? Because here to here is 1 inch, right? And you see, want to come out from here, you'll mark your 1 inch here, and then you kind of make that peak here, okay? So it's just using your discretion with coming out the 1 inch and make that peak, and then you could actually just connect. Take your time and connect, right? And then you come in 1 inch all the way down, your 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. Of course, you mark that you go down, right? 1 inch all the way down, right? All the way down. And then what you could do, you could do half an inch here, but I did 1 inch here for my hemming. So I just turn, right? Because it's 1 inch here, so I turn the 1 inch and I mark. So I'm hoping you're seeing the mark because I do it in white. Hopefully you can see the marking, right? It's one of the main reasons why I do it in white. Then you come up with your 1 inch, right? Come up 1 inch, 1 inch. So all the way up. All the way up with my 1 inch. Okay, so all the way up with my 1 inch. Okay, so around here. So what I've done here, if you look, maybe just about 5 inches down roughly, I start with the 1 inch, and I'm gonna do 2 inches here. So I'm gonna do, so really it's gonna be really, really spacey because I'm gonna have 2 inches on this and 2 inches on that, so it's gonna be really, really big. And if it's too big, I'll show you how easy it is to bring it down. But if it's too small, then you know, we don't want that, right? So here I come out like 2 inches, right? Just around by the waist area here, because I need that extra space. And then go up here now, I come up about 2.5 inches because I have this is about 2 inches and I want about, this is roughly around 2 inches and I want that half an inch for that fold in here, and plus my elastic again. So the elastic is very important, so make sure you know what sort of elastic you put in. All right, I have this sort of elastic here, so I'll put this elastic so you have enough space on both sides. Now if you have a thin elastic, of course you want to adjust the waist to make it smaller to fit this, right? Yeah, but because I have this elastic, I'll just go in enough to cover for this elastic. I will talk about the waist elastic in a little bit. Okay, so all right, so you see I come 2 inches here, I just mark it 2 inches all around, 2 inches all around. So remember, say because I come in 2 inch here, then it's obviously I'll have 2.5 inches up, right, from that 2 inch. Hopefully that makes sense. And then 2.5 inch all the way, 2.5 inch all the way to the top, and then I come out 2 inches here. All right, so it's obviously I'm gonna go make sure I have 2 inches up here, and to match it with my 2.5 inches. So I just kind of blend it in, right? And like I said, you could come down about what, 5 inches or so down, and then make it 2 inches here. And then what you have to do now, you have to just try to blend it in. So I'm just gonna blend it in from here. You could use your hand if you don't have a particular ruler. Just kind of use your hand to make a curve nice to come down here, right? And then you can go ahead and just join the lines. Just take your time and join it nicely. Like here now, I'm gonna do a little connection here as well. So I'm gonna move this up a bit, just to kind of connect it from here. Okay, I'll just connect it from here. just go down, right? Yeah. Right, so I go down, and then now I could just finish connecting it, you know? See what I'm saying? Finish connecting it. And of course you can use your straight ruler too to make sure you get a nice good line, right? A nice beautiful line. But the goal is that now you just want to go all the way around now. So yeah, I'm just gonna blend it down here anyway. Right, and then you cut it all. Sorry, once you connect it to your satisfaction, you see I'm just kind of you could use a ruler, you could just go on like this. That's perfectly fine. And then you take your scissors and we just cut it out. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it out now. I'm just gonna finish, you know, blend it nicely. And I cut it out, and then this would be the front, and then we'll, sorry, this is the back, I apologize for the back, and then we'll do that after. Okay, so now we're gonna, so I just cut it out, so this is how it is here. I'm just gonna pull everything out so you can see how it is. All right, I just pull it out nicely, and then we have our first pattern. Then before we do anything, we want to write on the pattern where we are. So this is the back. I'll just write B for back, because that's going to be a pattern for me. And then, so that's it. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to cut the front piece now. Okay, guys, so the front piece is actually the same thing as the back, but I'm just going to do the same thing again just to kind of, you get, you know, get the hang of it. But yeah, it's the same thing. Like I mentioned, it's shorter than the back. And again, it doesn't matter which side you have the peak, it's okay. I'm just going to put it on this side. The front crotch here is shorter than the back is longer, right? So it's the same thing. You're just gonna match it up nicely. Now if you have like because the front is longer, it's more, you could always just push in the bulk in there, whatever, right? Like, don't make that be any issue at all. And then we're gonna try our best to match it up again. All right, we're gonna straight it nicely. Okay, and we're gonna pin it just as the first one. Okay, just for you, if there's any bulk, let's kind of shove in the bulk just to kind of get the front, and the front is shorter than the back. You just want to make sure you tail it nicely. So the same thing I do, we do 1 inch down from 5 inches from here down. Then we go 1 inch down all the way around, 1 inch down, 1 inch across, 1 inch down. We measure from around 5 inches here, and then we put 2 inches out here and 2 inches out here. So it's gonna be really big for that extra, and that's fine. We could always reduce it if it's too much, not a big deal. Plus remember, say we have an elastic waistband, so. And then I went up 2.5 inches to accommodate the waistband. So let me just show you briefly. So again, I go 1 inch down, 1 inch down, 1 inch down. So I'm just drawing, right, as I go along 1 inch. Then you come with your 1 inch here, and then you kind of just, right, just kind of mimic a line here, right? You cover it down, and you mimic a line here, right? And you go down again, you're 1 inch down. Well, I'm just gonna do it in between, right? 1 inch. And again, if let's say you do, when you do the pants, you realize it's too big with the 1 inch, you could always, you know, bring a bigger seam allowance. Because I'm gonna go half an inch seam allowance, and if it's too big, then I'm gonna just do the full 1 inch seam allowance. But it's always good to be safe than sorry. That I come 1 inch here, all the way around, and I continue with a 1 inch here. Here I have a little deep in. I'm just start to kind of manipulate the 1 inch here, right? So all the way up, I do my 1 inch, right? So my 1 inch all the way up, right? And then from my 5 inch down here now, roughly I do 2.5 inch out here, right? I mean, sorry, 2 inches. I apologize, 2 inches. And then what I'm gonna do, I'll just kind of sort of blend it down to my line shape. Sort of blend it down, right? I'm just gonna blend it down. Yeah, just blend it down. Okay, so that's fine. That's 2 inches here, and then I go 2.5 inches up. Roughly 2.5 inches up. I go 2.5 inches up, and I measure. Right. So I'm just gonna come out here to that. My 2.5 inches up. Right. So you just average it here. So come out 2.5 inches up. So my 2.5 inches up is here. All right. You measure your 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. Then you come out here. Then you come here, right? So because you come here now, you come to the edge of this here and you make your 2.5 inches. All right, you'll be something like the edge of here, and that's you get 2.5 inches up here. And then you just blend everything down. Just gonna bend down with my hands. And then here to here now, I'm just gonna sort of blend it down, right? You just blend it from here to somewhere around here to kind of make it look, you know, yeah. Right, and then you could connect your lines. If you have a ruler and you want to just connect it, that's perfectly fine. And then I'm going to cut this one out. Okay, so now I have my front and my back cut out. So I don't need this anymore, I'm done with that. So this is my front. I'll just write front. Just be careful there are no words in front and your back, okay? What did I do? R, right side, front as well as right. Yeah, so F for front. And then B for back, right? Okay, so and then B for back. Okay guys, so I'm laying it down now. I'm just using one piece of my pattern, one for the back, one for the front. Back and one piece of the front to cut. And you could see I could put it this way, just to make sure I save fabric and stuff like that, right? All right, so I just put it here. This here is the salvage here. You just want to make sure that once you place your fabric, you may not have all the symbols and in place to understand fabric, to understand all the depths in cutting and all that. Don't worry about it. This is just a gather pants, so the gather pants are going to be loose on the child anyway, so flexible, let's put it like that. So all you want to make sure, just place your this is your pattern now, right? Just place it and then you cut. So I'm just shift it around here just so you could see what I did here, because everything doesn't show. So this is what I did here, right? And yeah, so, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna cut it out. I'm just gonna simply cut it out. So cutting is very important. Make sure you have your hand nicely when you're cutting. Now I did have pins. You may want to pin it down to make sure you cut it nicely with pins. Just take your time and cut it nicely. And you always want to make sure you have a nice pair of scissors. Just cut it out anyway. So this is the end here. Now you may not see me cutting all the pieces out because of how the camera stayed. The goal is that what I really want you to take out of it is just to draft the child's hands and make yourself make the child a pants. For me and my son, so yeah, that's really what I want you to see. Okay, all right, so this piece is done. All right, so go ahead and cut all the rest out. Make sure you pin it down. You could pin it down, of course, to make sure you get everything nice and tight. All right, or you clip it down, or you whatever you use to kind of keep your fabric down nicely. Okay guys, so now we are gonna separate everything, and then we're gonna match them up. So you wanna, of course, connect the back to the front. So let's see how we do it here. So what I want to do with the front, I'm gonna put the front right side facing me. So this is the front here of the pants, right? And then I'm gonna take the back now, and I'm gonna put it over right sides, touching right sides. So right sides here, sorry, it's right side here, touch right sides here. No guys, if everything doesn't match up 100% is okay. Remember, we didn't drop the pattern, we drop it from a pants, from an actual pants, right? So it's okay. So this is, it's just, remember, back over the front, right sides touching right sides. And all what we're gonna do here now is to pin this down here and pin the sides. Okay, so I pinned the first one already, and I realized that there is some extra fabric, and that is okay because we just drafting. We draft this from our pants. We didn't make it from scratch, so it's all good. We don't just trim out whatever, and plus we have a lot of extras. Right, so you just pin it down. So I'm gonna do one side, pin it down. So all here now we're gonna leave it. We're not gonna pin this down. We're gonna leave it here, and we're gonna pin this side down. And remember, the one is a little bit bigger than the other, so that's okay. If it's, you have to slide it a bit because it's not a straight pattern because it's fitting the body, right? So, but we're gonna get some extras in the bottom from what I did from the first pass. So I'm just gonna randomly pin it. You will take your time and pin it down. Randomly pin it down till you reach the end. Make sure it settle nicely. I already re-pin to make sure it settle nicely. Right? Okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to do the exact same thing for this side, and then we'll come back itself. But also with the elastic, now you want to get the child's waist in the elastic with 2 fingers in, and then you want to have at least ½ inch extra over for joining it. Okay, and before, of course, we seal everything, then we're going to try it on the child's waist to see if it's too big, or if, you know, if we need to do anything additional. Okay, so whatever the child's waist is, just leave at this ½ inch elastic extra. 1 inch, sorry, ½ inch overlap elastic extra, so we could actually just think. And the reason why I'm doing this is just because when I'm making my son waist, I want to make sure that I have enough room, because, you know, men is a little bit different from women, so I just have that extra headpiece for him at least. For my daughter, usually I just go but this elastic is very firm. If I was using the other elastic, it's very, very stretchy. So usually I would just go exactly the waist. I'm just trying to get it here. So if I was using this elastic, this one is very, very stretchy, then I would have just taken my son's waist alone, and that's pretty much it. But this one is very firm, it's very tight. So that's why I want that extra there, because it's all based on the elastic. So it's because it's really, really tight and firm. The other one is very stretchy, so yeah.